What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. And joining me this week is Chris Dupuis. Hello! You get
Hello.
you
Nice.
get to see me all animated on a show now and not just in meetings.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. We're talking about a lot of fun stuff today. But if folks in the chat don't know who are you for those fine folks who do not know?
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Dupuis. I'm the executive producer for Idle Champions. I help or I make the release schedule for the game and work with a really talented team to bring out the releases in our game every week.
Heck yeah, you do. Sorry, I was bringing up chat because I realized I didn't do that. I'm gonna have that over here. Yeah, you make the things happen. Really, like that. That's kind of the way that I describe you to folks. Is like, yeah, if something happened in the game, Dupuis probably planned it. So
Hopefully.
And yeah, we thought it'd be a perfect time to bring you on and talk about what you do, what's going on in the game, maybe a few things about what's going on later in the game. And because we're having a big group of people coming in fresh to the game today because of the epic promo. But before we talk about that, I'd like to start the show off with a fun little icebreaker question, and I have not asked you this like in like our own meetings and stuff, and I'm genuinely interested to hear, how did you get into D&D?
That's a good question. I have a little bit of a long story for that. So when I was growing up, my little brother Brian, was the big D&D player. He would DM games. I would kind of sit in the periphery and kind of watch and read through some of the books, but I didn't really play a lot. And later on, when I worked at Hasbro, I started to really get into D&D. Started playing with my own home group and really dove into it in the 3.5 era when we transitioned over to 4. And eventually made my way over to Wizards to work on D&D as part of the 5th edition team, which was fantastic. But yeah, it was a lot of enjoying D&D from afar with my little brother, and then finally dipping my toes in and just living it for now decades.
Yeah. Well, the one of the wild things, and I don't actually know if I've told you this, but like you did it was a pre-recorded actual play thing that y'all did at WotC, and the wildest thing was for me was realizing I had watched that years ago before I got the job here, and like I don't remember how it came up in conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, I watched that one a long time ago. They're like, did you realize Dupuis in that? I'm like, what? And I went back and watched it again because I was like, oh my god, I know him.
Little baby Dupuis back in the day.
Well, okay, so like, because I don't know when I'll get to have you on here again. I'm gonna throw in a little extra thing. What was your first character that you did for D&D?
Ooh, first character. My first character was Slarin, an elf ranger. And
Hey,
I have recreated that character so many times. It was my main World of Warcraft character.
heck yeah!
I've played him in so many games. He's this character that keeps coming back. I think he's an NPC in the game somewhere. I think
Oh
I put him
really?
in maybe Icewind Dale.
Huh?
Yeah, I think he shows up as a NPC somewhere in the game, little Easter egg.
That's so cool. I do love when folks will do that with characters that they'll have in D&D, or even just like they named in a video game once, but that's the name that they always have a recurring thing of. It's kind of like bringing a friend along through your different adventures and stuff. I love that.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I do want to be sure to let people in the chat know we're live right now. If you are joining us for the first time because you saw a cool little promo in the Epic Game Store today and you downloaded this awesome game and then you clicked on a little notification, now you're here. We do the show weekly where I talk with guests about all kinds of things with Idle Champions and Dungeons and Dragons. But we thought it would be a good thing today to kind of like, as new folks are coming in, I see folks in the chat right now learning how to get the code and how to put that in and everything. So yeah, this is a kind of an introduction to Idle Champions and what's going on here and everything like that. I also do want to say we're going to do a giveaway in the middle of the show. So be sure to stick around at some point in the middle of the show area. I'll let you know that we're doing a giveaway. Our awesome mod Gabe will put a keyword into chat, and you can put that in to enter for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice, excluding Bahamut chests. But any of those new champions that you got, or any champions that you're unlocking right now, you get 42 chests for them, and get a bunch of really good loot. But let's kind of start things off here with talking about the Epic Games Pro, because we also got folks who are been playing for a bit and watching the show. They may not know that an Epic Games promo is going on. What is this?
So yeah, for this week, starting this morning and going till Thursday the 20th at 8 a.m. If you log in through to Idle Champions through the Epic Games Store, you'll get a package with 5 champion unlocks, 16 gold champion chests for each, an exclusive familiar, an exclusive skin, and a couple of week-long potions. So it's a great way to jump into the game and really speed through the first couple of adventures, get a real leg up with some advanced characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's for everyone on the Epic Games Store. We do these promotions on different platforms at various times. And this week is an Epic week. And we're really excited about all those new players coming in.
It is an epic week. Yeah, and we got some really cool champions that are in it. I mean, we got right now on the screen. You see Will and Ravengard right there, and Dragon Down is going on right now. So we got like one of our regular events. We got Epic Games going on, and we got a little celebration to talk about as well.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I did want to ask you is, you said that there were some exclusive things in this. Will other players be able to get these eventually?
Oh, for sure. So when we do these promos, obviously there's an exclusivity window. And so Epic Games is the only place that you'll be able to get Quirk the Homunculus and the Baldur's Gate 2 Ravengard skin. But in about 3 weeks, in about 3 months, we'll roll those over, and the Ravengard skin will show up in the gem shop, and the familiar will move into the wild offer pool. So it'll be available for other players on other platforms in that way.
Heck yeah. I did just remember, because you named it there. It's like, oh yeah, we did do a skin that makes Duke Ravengard look like himself from Baldur's Gate 3. So
He's got a cool helmet and everything too.
Yeah, you can keep building out these this Baldur's Gate 3 formation that I don't even know if it would work, but I'm just gonna put all of them in there because it's fun.
It's a good formation. You get enough Ceramorph stacks, it's powerful.
So okay, the other thing we've got going on right now is the Wormslayer celebration. Celebrations is something that we've done quite a few times, but we've got kind of a new style of doing this. What's going on there?
Yeah, so we have done celebrations at various times. They're normally about quarterly. And we've tried a bunch of different ways to theme them, but this month specifically, one of the things that's grown out of the new Events 2.0 system is the idea of theming a whole swath of skins that are releasing at the same time. And this is our first month of going with a theme during the event. So we've got the Wormslayer skins. We had the theme packs for Esmeralda and Ravengard that came out last week. We've got the skin and feet packs for BBG and Celise that came out just yesterday. And we'll have a couple more Wormslayer skins next week. And then we've also got the Wormslayer Warduke, which is the participation prize for the celebration event. So celebration events are a lot of fun because they're a great way to just come into the game every day and get free stuff just for logging in. And so for the next 7 days, you can log in each day. They roll over at noon Pacific time, and you can collect a new chest. Each chest has a bunch of high-level items in it, sometimes other chests. But they really help to fill up your inventory and help you push forward. And every day for 7 days. But then if you collect 4 of those chests, you'll get what we call the participation prize, which is Warduke. You'll get the unlock for Warduke, the Wormslayer Warduke skin, and 3 gold Warduke chests, as well as feet as well.
Oh, dang. We're giving out a bunch of things.
Yeah, and that also is going to be exclusive to this celebration for the next 3 months, and then it'll roll over into the gem shop and the wild offer shop.
And I do want to clarify this for folks, and this is just coming from my time as the community manager. You do have to go and unlock the thing. Like you got to go press the button, get the
Yep.
thing for it to count. So hop in there. Be sure to bring up the celebration screen and claim those awesome giveaways, and get Warduke looking real cool. I did see there was a question that popped in here that I did want to just bring up to clarify. These celebrations are still going to be quarterly, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
They might
So
not be exactly 3 months apart, but they are planned to be quarterly.
okay, but yeah, this time we were tying the theme into it, but it's not because I saw someone in chat say like, oh, is the event's gonna have like a celebration theme with it every time? Still quarterly, but
Yeah.
the theme might tie into what that celebration is. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun in the next few months, and we might talk a little bit more about that after a bit with some more themes. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do this one now. Well, so thinking of the themes, like how did that kind of idea come about for this? Because this is something that we want to do with each event now. What was kind of the thinking behind that?
Well, the thinking really grew out of our new event system. So previously, the event, the way our rollout would happen, the event was about 12 days. Maybe off one. The event was about 12 days, and then we'd have other content that came out throughout the month. But with the new event system, the events 2.0, it really takes up a good chunk of the month. And so as we work to build the product plan for each month, the DLC that comes out during the event is based on the Flex Champions. So that's how I'm choosing the theme packs and skin and feet packs that come out. Because each of them gets a spike in usage. Everyone's really interested in those Flex Champions through the event. So focusing on those seems like a no-brainer. And then trying to figure out how they're all tied together. We've iterated on a bunch of different ideas, and it came from some of my discussions with the marketing director, Dylan Wilkes. And he's been suggesting theming for a while, and we're trying it out. We've tried it out this month. Because we plan so far ahead, we're also trying it out for the next 4 months. So hopefully everyone's enjoying it because it's going to be themed for a little while. But I'm really excited about how it's come together with the Worm Slayers, and I'm really excited about the next couple of months of themes as well.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it is really funny because like I do, because we work so far ahead on stuff sometimes when these start coming, I'm like, I thought these came out a while ago. No, I heard them in kickoffs. Okay.
You have to put your brain in different time streams.
Yeah.
Like I think we just kicked off September content.
We did literally this morning. We're talking about September. Oh boy. Yeah, no, the themes I think are going to be a really fun thing to not only like have for like skins and stuff like that, but again to kind of tie things together with it with the event.
And we've done plenty of themed skins before, but they're
Mm-hmm.
normally very ad hoc and they come out in fits and spurts. I'm excited about folks wanting to collect all the Worm Slayers or collect all the redacted future theme because they're all coming out at the same time. You're seeing them all at the same time, and you can fill out a formation with them, sort of like the Mind Flayers with the Baldur's Gate 3 characters.
Yeah. I actually didn't realize. I do want to say, again, for folks who are new coming in from Epic, we're throwing around events 2.0. I will really quickly say that like the way that Dragon Down, that's the event that we have going on right now. Events happen monthly. We recently updated how those work. You don't really got to worry about what happened before. The way events are happening now, it is a new thing, and we're still working with what is good and what players want from it. So yeah, don't worry about 2.0 or anything like that. You got the newest one going on right now, and yeah, it's good times. I like 2.0 a lot more. So
Me too. I'm really enjoying it. Who'd you flex this month?
Oh God. That Dupuis, you say that like I had time to play this month. I've been doing a lot of writing. You know what? I need to go. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this live, where
Ooh.
I'm gonna go to the main site, and you'd think I would know the Flex Champions because I wrote the blog. But
Yeah, but you've written so many blogs and they're so far ahead.
yeah.
I went Nova and Korth right now. Well, I'm running two different accounts, but on my main one, I'm Nova, Korth, and um who's the last one? Now I
I
can't remember the last one.
yeah, Nova's when I'm looking at it, I would have Nova in a flex slot and BBG because I still need to get more stuff on him. And again for new folks, flex slots, those are past champions. Those ones are not the new shiny thing. Right now, the way we've been doing things is we have one new champion. This time it's Raven Guard, a rework champion, which is Esmeralda, and then the flex slots are ones that you can unlock throughout the event that were from past events or past times that they with releases to give them one an opportunity for you to get a new champion, but also if you already have them, you can get a flex slot for them and go back into their adventures and try to unlock more chests to get more loot and get up those eye levels,
Well,
item levels. I'm using short terms and I'm just trying to explain things.
you know what I really like about the flex slots too is when a champion that you use a lot shows up in a flex slot, you can unlock them and tier them up in order to unlock further abilities
That's
for them
right.
that
Yeah.
are then active for even the next month after the event. So I'm always excited to see a champion that I use in like my core runs as a flex champion because I can power them up further and they're going to be powered up for the next 2 months, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I do want to say it real quick for chat because I've seen a few questions float through here. Not just some fun ones, but I do want to say if you have any questions for Dupuis or myself or anything like that, you can put into the chat question colon and then your question, and our awesome mod Gabe will grab them and put a little text doc that I will check out towards the end of the show.
I
Um,
I will say I've been warned about spoilers, so let's be careful.
yeah, someone did say like true Dupree spirit. Who's the next champion? But hey, you know what? We that might not happen. So stop. So yeah, the we've kind of talking about like keeping the new Epic Games players in mind and everything like that. But and I do think that this is a good opportunity to kind of talk about like people are starting Idle Champions today for the first time. You are again the person behind the things and the stuff and all of that. What would you say is like a good place for people? Where's a good place for people to start?
Uh, well, first, going to our Discord, discord.gg/idle champions, is a great place to start because there's a whole bunch of different channels, a really great welcoming community that can help to answer a lot of questions that you might have as you're going through it. But when you're in the game, starting with the Grand Tour, with your first couple of adventures, after you get through the tutorial, which resets after 25, going in and playing the Cursed Farmer and Mad Wizard, and then jumping into the events. Right now, we've got an active event. Through the event, you can unlock up to 5 champions. So each of those champions that you flex, you'll play through the event adventure, and once you get to Area 50, you own the champion. And then continuing the variants just gets you more gear through play. So I would definitely focus on the event after maybe one or two adventures in the Grand Tour. And then as you're going through the event or after the event, jumping back into the Grand Tour. The Grand Tour of the Sword Coast is our sort of evergreen campaign. It's the one that we're just constantly going to update. But then we also have campaigns for essentially each of the books that have been released over the past
Almost.
6 years, almost.
Almost. Yeah,
Almost.
yeah.
But those campaigns follow pretty closely with the official TRPG books. We do take a little bit of creative license in certain areas, but at their core, they're just like going through the adventure at your table. You know how everyone's table is different. Everyone's campaign is a little bit different, and so our campaign is as close to the official campaign as possible. And it's a really fun way to play through the campaign. And if you played
Hmm.
through it at the table before, you'll see a lot of similar NPCs, a lot of similar locations, and it's just a fun, quirky way to get your daily D&D fix.
That is true. I do want to preface before I say the next thing is that like we do try to not spoil things outright with these adventures. So like if you if your group your D&D group's like, oh, we're gonna be playing what do we got in there, Rime of the Frost Maiden, and you're like, oh well, I don't want to play through that and know what's gonna happen. We do, like, there are things that you are gonna see that are from the book, but like we do try to like keep those like big twist moments kind of safe for your table.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind as you're going through them. But I will say that like before I got the job here and I was like a player of Idle Champions, that was genuinely like one of my favorite things about it. Where like when I found out Tomb of Annihilation was I was just finished running Tomb of Annihilation. And so I'm like, well,
Nice.
I have to get there and play that. And so I made sure to go through everything that I could to unlock those that campaign. And yeah, starting to go through and seeing NPCs that I had used for my players and locations. That's honestly one of my favorite things is like seeing the locations because most of the time in my table I'm running very theater of the mind kind of things, and so
Mhm.
seeing another interpretation of a location that I have described for people was really fun. And also I will say this, there have been a few times now that I've actually just taken Idle Champions things and described that for my players.
Our
uh,
artists are amazing, so I
they
don't
are
I don't blame you.
they knock it out of the park on a regular basis.
Mhm.
And that they're like that's actually one of the things that kind of guts me is that like there are some backgrounds and even creatures that are so unbelievably cool, but by their nature we only get to use once. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, but that I want more people to see this more often. This is so cool.
No throwing Tiamat in Area 5.
Listen, just because I put the Devourer as a boss in the third area of the first adventure of Turn of Fortune's Wheel doesn't mean anything. Okay, so those are some good like resources and places to go for Idle Champions. And like, you said going back to Grand Tour of the Sword Coast, playing through there. I do kind of want to dig on something though. Like when players have finished an adventure in there and they go back, they'll probably notice that there's two new adventures that pop up under that one, which we
Mhm.
have as adventure variants. Why don't you explain those for folks?
Sure. Adventure variants are the same adventure, the same storyline, but there's a mechanical tweak, whether it's limiting or condensing the types of champions that you can have. You can only have lawful champions. You can only have champions with strength 16 or higher, or they introduce new monsters or a new difficulty setting. It's basically that adventure just a little bit more challenging. And
Hmm.
playing through those will get you more rewards, but it also helps you to fine tune your formation skills. So, one of the key things about this game is formation building. It's not about just taking a character and throwing them into the formation, it's about
Don't
learning
bash how I
about
play this game.
everyone can play it however they want. But if you want to push further, you learn about how the characters work, and you figure out where the best place for them is in this specific formation. Each campaign has a different formation. Each event has a different formation, and so you'll get used to certain characters will be good for certain formations, and they'll be not so great for other formations. So as you go through these variants and your pool of champions is limited, you have to kind of work around those restrictions, and it makes the victory all the more sweeter for it. But I will note that those adventure variant restrictions just got a lot easier because we introduced what we call the champion search. And so when you go
Hmm.
to swap a champion on your bench, there's a new search button. And if you click on that, it'll allow you to take a look at all the champions you have, or all the champions available, whether you own them or don't own them. And you can click the current adventure button, and it'll show you only the champions that will work within the restrictions of this adventure or variant. And that will give you a really great view of who you have in each seat that'll allow you to try and figure out how best to maximize that group. And you can add further restrictions as well if you're looking for, say, melee attackers that work well with Duke Ravengard. It's an amazing tool, and I'm so excited it's finally in the game.
I'm actually gonna tell a little behind the scenes story of you and me during when we were testing Champion Search. Like a bunch of us had been in there and like making sure things worked and like putting in notes and everything. And you and I were talking like the next day that you and I had gone home, played the game, and hovered over a champion, and we're like, oh, it doesn't bring up the thing. We'd gotten so used to it so fast.
Oh, yeah. Because it's like this thing that it's always been like, oh God, if only we had this. And then finally on our development branch, we have it. And then I went home and I'm just like, no, I want the button. I need to find all my gold find characters.
Yeah, that's definitely a feature that the dev team knocked out of the park on that. I'm so happy with that one. Again, it's one of those just like, yeah, we wanted that for so long and we finally had the time and ability to do it. So I'm happy it's here.
It's very exciting, and I hope it makes everyone's gameplay so much more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've seen people in the Discord just taking screenshots of that, a current adventure button and go, this is the best thing ever made. Okay, so again, let's talk a little bit for those new players. They'll probably see that like familiars are popping up in some places, like there's a free one in the in-game store and stuff that they can grab, and while there is a restriction of like getting to area 60, you will do that fairly quickly. What can familiars do, and like how are they gonna help that player with their formations?
Yeah, that's a great question. Familiars are auto clickers. So when you start the game and Bruner is there and he's saying, hey, you got to click to help me. And as you're in the tutorial and for the first couple of adventures, you really have to click to keep the monsters off of your champions. But as you start to unlock familiars, you can put familiars on the field to click for you, which means you don't have to do that anymore. And you can then focus on the formation and focus on learning your champions. Familiars can also level up your champions automatically. They will float over either a specific ultimate or the ultimate bar itself and just click ultimates as they become available. They are super duper helpful to help you automate the game, so that way you can then focus your time on learning the game as the champions are pushing further and further. And yeah, there's the Guinevere is a free familiar that's in the in-game shop. Everyone that is getting the epic promo right now, once you get through the tutorial, you'll have your first familiar and Bruno will pop up and tell you about it. But yeah, if you've got familiars, you should be using them, because it makes the game so much more interesting, because you can really dive in to the math and to the formation building with your familiars. And if you have a certain number of them on the main screen, they'll click distractions for you and auto pick up boss bags for you, so that way you can progress even faster.
Mm-hmm. And you can also put them on like the champions to level them up. You can put them on the ultimate bar to like they'll like just kind of slowly move around and hit a random one every so often. I didn't know for the longest time that you could put more than one of them on there. So like I saw Gar doing a stream and he has like a bunch of them, like a parade of them down there.
They just kind of go across.
Yeah.
And don't forget, there's while there are other familiars in the shop, there's also familiars in the gem store. And the first one is at 250 gems. So as new players are playing, you're going to collect those gems pretty quickly. And when you get to 250, go into the gem shop and grab that mage hand, because every familiar is super valuable.
I remember starting off in Idle Champions, and I was like, no, I will not spend a single gem until I can buy Boo in the gem shop for 70,000 gems. That was my stubborn thing. I'm like, no, I'm not spending any of them. I need Boo.
He's important.
He is, and he's been in every one of my formations now because I love him. Uh, but yeah, you were saying like how the familiars do let you focus in on other things, and I think that is a good way of looking at it. Is where like the as you build up these familiars, it's allowing you to pay more attention to other things that are happening in the game. I mean, like, yeah, it is an idle game. It will, progress the thing on its own with the familiars, but it allows you to take time to look at those formation abilities and build out those formations. Oh, I wanted to say during the formation thing, that save formation button is good, is like really key. Like that's a good one.
Absolutely.
And later on you get into more automation and stuff. Like I didn't have any questions on here about like the Modron core and stuff because I do feel like that's getting to like a little bit of a higher tier thing on it. That is definitely where the Discord, the subreddit is a good place to go. I do also want to like call out on here because some of you might be on the stream for the first time and you don't know that we have a bunch of streams that we do all throughout the week for Idle Champions, and a lot of them are about learning the game and getting better at building formations and getting through these variants. We got Mars's Guiding Hand in the mornings. We have Gar Wars Guide twice a week. One of them's on Saturday. It's our only Saturday show. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon with Gar telling you how to make a tank formation and stuff. We have ones with our community manager Sean, and we have a whole bunch of stuff that goes on throughout the week for Idle Champions on this stream, and some of it's entertainment like this, and some of it is informative and allows you to really get an idea of how to progress in this game in like the efficient way, because I do know that's like the key thing that a lot of our community is efficiency. I don't understand that. Again, I just throw champions into a formation and go, I know the people that made those characters. And that's all that I do. But
Well, there's so many different ways to play the game. You can min max and just try to get as far as you can with the most efficient players, with the most efficient champions. And then there's I like playing with the Saturday morning crew, and so those are the characters I'm going to play with, and then I'm going to build the best formation around them, and however you want to play. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. No, and that is something that I do try to tell people is like, yeah, I know there's a lot of information and a lot of strategies out there. Doesn't mean you have to take all of them. It doesn't mean you have to memorize every formation ability that they have or anything like that. This game is just a fun idle game that has D&D in it, and that's literally all that I wanted when I started playing it.
Yeah, it's just a chill, quirky daily dose of D&D, which I love because I don't know about you, but I don't get to play nearly as often as I would like in terms of the TRPG.
Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely not the days of like, hey, does everyone want to meet up at like noon and we'll just play to like whenever? Those were the days. Okay, so we've talked about some intro things to it, events and whatnot, but the adventures. So we do release adventures monthly. How do those releases work?
So we have the events that launch on the first Wednesday of every month. On the third Wednesday of every month, the third Wednesday of every month, we bring out an adventure set, and it is likely going to be based on one of the more recent adventures, Turn of Fortune's Wheel, or we've released that, Vecna Eve of Ruin.
I've been doing that all week. Like I have the book sitting right here, and I'm like, can I say that name out loud?
But yeah, the adventures come out in sets of 2. So each campaign will get 2 base adventures and a variant for each. And then we'll occasionally get new blessings that'll come out with them as well. But they just help to progress the story as you're playing through the campaign.
You activated my trap card of asking another question. But before I do, I'm going to say, chat, we're getting ready to do the giveaway. Check out the if you're on a different tab or something like that, click back over. Gabe is going to put a keyword into chat. Put it back in exactly as it is, and you'll be entered for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice, excluding Bahamut chests. And yeah, it'll be a fun time. I'm sitting here and being like, what's Gabe going to do this time? What? Because we don't plan this ahead of time. I let Gabe do whatever they want. Slay worms. I like that.
Hmm. So
That's a good one.
if you were gonna pick a 42 chest pack, what would you grab?
Oh, I've never been asked that on here. Who would I pick? I could be so egotistical and say Vin Ursa because I made her. Uh, actually, no. I know what I'd probably pick Karlach because like
Mm,
I have her like leading a formation right now, and I need more stuff for her.
nice.
uh, Lord, our producer Lord Urban put in the chat. I mean, I'd say our Kira chest, so Vin Ursa isn't bad. Yeah, that's fair, Lord. Um, well, I'll turn that around on you. Who would you pick if you won the 42 chess?
Probably Evelyn. She's my go-to tank for a
Mm,
lot of formations. Either Evelyn or Briv, because they are almost always in my formation unless they're restricted.
yeah. I do love Evelyn for my tank. She's so
Mm.
good. Well, okay, so you mentioned there the adventures come out, they got variants, and occasionally they have blessings. What are blessings?
Blessings are ways that you can use some of the favor that you use. So rolling back a little bit, and I'll get to blessings in a second. One
Hmm.
of the most important things to understand about this game is that resetting is not scary. The first couple of times you reset, it can feel scary because you're losing all that you're losing all that progress that you've made. But the thing is, the amount of gold that you collect in every adventure changes into divine favor, which then increases the rate at which you collect gold the next adventure. So the idea is each time you play within a campaign, your favor level goes up, and thus your gold find ability goes up each time you play. So you can get further and further and get more and more gold each time. So don't be worried about resetting. If you're stuck at your wall and you're still 20 areas back and you've tried everything you can to get enough power to punch through, reset, restart the adventure, and you will likely have more than enough to push forward this time. When you reset that gold find, the gold turns into divine favor, which then increases your gold find. But you'll get to a point where you have a lot of favor, and you can spend a little bit of it, and it's not really going to affect your gold find. So those blessings are where you can spend some of that divine favor to further power up your champions. And the blessings are unique to each campaign, and will normally work along the routes of the types of champions that work well with the variants within that campaign. So each level of blessings has 3 local blessings, which affect games within that campaign, and then they have a big global blessing, which will affect all of your campaigns, all of your games across all of your campaigns. So local blessings for within the campaign, global blessings for everywhere.
Yeah. I kind of explained it as like it's a roguelike element where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you're restarting, but like you're better than you were before.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. That's perfect.
the what one of understand what you mean though about like it's scary to reset because like the idle game that this is so weird. The idle game that I played before this one was I don't know if anyone remembers Battleborn. It was this like first person shooter game that Gearbox made, and it didn't do very well, but they had an idle game version of it on phone, and I played it, and I really enjoyed it and everything, but like the resets ended up taking like I would play it for about like 3 or 4 days. And then it would be like, okay, you've gotten to the end. Go back to the beginning. You're a little bit better now. And so I had this feeling of like, oh no, I should be playing longer. So when I first did it in Idle Champions, I was like, no, well, no, I shouldn't do that yet. It's too soon. But like seeing how quickly those things started to go, and I'm like, oh, I see the rhythm of this game now. And once I feel like you see that, like you really start running with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we're getting to the later part of the show. We said that we would talk about some things and some stuff. Uh, let's see. Let me see which question I've got here for it. Um, okay, themes. We said that we're doing themes. Um, what is we'll just do what is the next theme that we can talk about?
the next theme for next month is spies and detectives.
I'm excited about this one. Yeah, so that I one of the reasons that I did want to talk about this is kind of illustrating that, like, this time we had Wormslayer, which is this very epic fantasy sort of thing to it. That might not necessarily be the thing every time. Like, next month is spies and detectives, and finding ways with the champions that we have, and also again, like, for folks who do not know, a lot of the champions that are in our game are from streams and shows and whatnot. And so we actually do work with those content creators that have made those. So, like, for next month, any content creator champions that are there, we worked with them and talked to them like, hey, how would you want your character to look like a spy, or how would you want your character to look like a detective, and working with the art team to really build in that theme to it. And yeah, we're not going to talk about why it's spies and detectives, but I will tease this. There is a reason. Wormslayer, Dragon Down, but next, what's the next one? Founders Day. Yeah, Founders Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't, Spies and Detectives doesn't really tie into that one. Maybe it's tying into something else then that's happening. I do want to know. I'm not gonna call it the person. We were gonna say more because we do know that Dupuis has spoiled things before, but we have been told we can't.
It was like a preemptive warning. I was like, what?
I know.
My hands.
But spies and detectives. Let your minds wander with that. And yeah, actually,
The good thing. The
Go
good thing
ahead.
was there wasn't any warning about the next Evergreen champion, so I can spoil a little bit about that.
Hey, hang on. Before we do that,
Oh,
because I do want to do that, I want to check one
what the
thing.
people came here for.
I know, but now I'm keeping them on the edge of their seat. I want to see if there's one other thing that we can say though about the spies and detectives. Oh yes, okay. The next event is Founders Day, and it is spies and detectives. But one of the big things that I think folks in the chat are going to be excited about. This is going to be I'll let you say. There's something different about the new and feature champion that we're doing. The fact that it's not the formula we're going with this time.
Are we talking about the height thing or?
I'll just say it. We're doing 2 new champions this time around. There won't be a rework. That was very funny too, and I cannot wait for people to figure out why that is funny. But yeah, so we're doing 2 new champions next month instead of the new and rework. So there's gonna be some fun times there with those champions.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. It's the first Events 2.0 event that we've had with 2 new champions, so we're trying it out, and I think we've got a really compelling pair of champions, and I can't wait to start talking about them. But
I cannot
Dylan
either.
has told me I cannot.
You just straight up called him out on it. I love it. The one other thing that we are going to say here about this, again, 2 new champions. We're trying out something new. What I have been told I can say about this is you are going to know more about the backstory of these characters going into their release than you normally do for some champions. So there's gonna be something happening. We're gonna be doing some things and some stuff with it, with their backstories. And I'm hoping everyone out there is really gonna enjoy what we have planned for this, because I'm very excited.
Yeah, we've been working on this campaign for many months, and we're really excited about it.
Mm. I will say this, because I know what I said there is going to make it sound like these are lore characters. I'm like, you already know. You do not already know these backstories. You will learn them. Sorry, someone said it's Mars and Sean champions. I love it. But yes, okay. Spoiler things. Evergreen champion. What's going on there?
Yeah, we've got our next Evergreen champion coming out. The last one that we had was Commodore Crux that came out I want to say about September of last year. I
Yeah,
might be
something
off
like
by a
that.
month or two. But Commodore Crux was the last Evergreen champion that came out. He came out in the Light of Xerxes campaign. Our next Evergreen champion is coming out as a part of the Turn of Fortune's Wheel campaign, and it's a character, a mysterious character that's been with us almost from the start. And it's the character Ren that you designed as part of our ongoing story with Turn of Fortune's Wheel. One of the things when we talk about our campaigns, they are very close to the TRPG game. But one of the things that I think I talked to you about really early when you came on as a content designer is I consider as we go through the adventures, I think of us as the DMs for the players. We're crafting a story, we're crafting a narrative, we're aligning with the TRPG, but we're also telling our own story. And Ren was something that you came up with early in the campaign. Is the characters waking up with having no memory of who they are, and we're just going to throw someone in there that no one knows about, and to the champions they don't know the difference because they can't remember anything. And Ren has cemented themselves as a part of this group, and I think they've had an amazing character arc so far.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to have them come out as a champion now.
I am too. And yeah, even though I created it, some people were like, oh, well, it's just Trevor's character. No, I literally think of this character as an NPC that I made for a game. Like, I have plans for things and stuff that happens with her that you do not know about.
Hmm.
Okay, I was just reminded that we're getting short on time, so I'm going to try and grab some questions from the chat that we've gotten here on the text doc.
Lightning
Uh,
round.
Let's see. Star Chaser 43. Question: is there anything you can tease about a coming champion you are most excited to see in the game? So
I
not
think
being specific, but something that's coming out that you're excited about. One little aspect of them.
let's see.
He's like, which ones are there?
What a good question. That's a good question. Um, mm, 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 mm. I am. I am really excited about the new champion for October and the spooky theme that we have going on with that. We're gonna have a really fun October, and I think it all starts with this character, the new champion.
Yeah, October. We're bringing the spooky to the spooky month. The lurking writer says, question, Chris, you're often cited as the busiest person in C&E. That is true. We do genuinely say that about you on stream. Have you had any free time to play D&D since the last time you were on a stream here? What about some of those board games you helped design/create?
I have not had a lot of time to play D&D with the exception of Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm
Yeah.
in Act 3 of my second playthrough. I took about a 4-month break with my first playthrough and started over. So I'm really excited to finally get to the end of Baldur's Gate 3. But I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. Most of my board gaming is family board game based. I have an 11-year-old daughter, so we're still getting her up to my games. We're sticking with we're playing Dungeon Mayhem a lot actually.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that game.
she's really good at Dungeon Mayhem. That's like her jam right now.
Let's see. Star Tracer 43 has another question. Chris, you said that you have 2 accounts for playing Idle Champions. Do you try and play a set amount of time in those games each week?
No, in fact, I think I have 6 accounts. I have
Oh
a
my
game
God.
running on every platform. The Steam game is the one that I play every day, so I always have it open. And because it's really important when you're working on a game to play the game. And so I make sure that the game's open all the time, and I'm always in between meetings, moving formations around, changing parties, playing through the content. I also play on my phone. I play on my PlayStation at home. I'm all over the place. I really
Uh,
like this game, guys.
Fun fact, when I was a player for Idle Champions, I played on my phone and I put it underneath my monitor at my office job so no one could see that I was playing it. Lurking Writer says, silly question. I have over 150 familiars. Help? Uh, I just thought that was a fun one. Let's see. Any other ones that I can do? There, I will say, chat. There's a lot of good questions in here. Dev Insights is up after this. A lot of these are really good for there. So be sure to hold on to them if we don't get to them on here. Rad Rib said, "Question: We can't ask spoiler questions until he's given them, right?" That's fair. Yeah. Okay. I will say this. I will give you spoiler people some credit here. If you are a person that does like spoilers and things like that, knowing things that are going to happen before we have a fun time talking about them, there is a super secret channel, and by secret I mean it's totally there in plain view, in our Discord called the Well of Spoilers. You can hop in there and talk with folks about stuff that's coming up that we haven't announced yet, but people have found. So there, you have that one. There you go. All right. Well, I think because of time wise and getting out of here for Dev Insights, that's where we're going to stop. Chris, thank you so much for talking with me today. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for watching, everyone at home. I hope you have a ton of fun playing Dragon Down, and if you're on Epic, welcome to the game.
Heck yeah. Well, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Idle Insights. So until next week, take care of yourself.